Love the hair.
Hello.
Switching it up.
I'm taking a page from Aisha's book. You know how we
Yeah,
do.
the
That
Queen
girl ain't had that
Aisha.
same hairstyle since the beginning of the show.
I would love to see her hair closet.
Oh my gosh. Let me borrow something, girl. Let me hold something, Aisha. Yes, I'm so excited. This season 5 is nuts. This is episode 9, Out of Town and Out of Bounds, which
Ooh,
is a
pretty
fitting
accurate.
title.
Their titles are pretty fitting usually. It's some great writers on this for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely nailing it. I definitely want to start by saying Tommy came walking in looking dapper, dropped a bomb, and then bounced. I was like, Tommy,
Uh,
sir.
Read my mind. Every single time he made an appearance this episode, I mean, let's face it, he does it every single time. Tommy comes in looking sharp AF, right? Just let me just give you a little glisten and glamour for the camera for a second, then I'm going to head out and let y'all do your thing. He sets the tone, that's for sure. I really enjoy that.
Yes, and that suit was looking good, and he sure did set the tone and bounce. It's like I almost knew it was coming. Sometimes I feel like every episode I don't remember what's coming, but somebody being eliminated, and it's like you're on these beautiful grounds. You can tell everybody's getting tight, and then you're like, somebody's going home. It's like, dang, can I even have fun?
Right.
I would have been nerve-wracked.
Oh, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they stay present and give each other themselves with all the circumstances that are probably weighing on them that we aren't even aware of. Like, once again, just going to give everybody a round of applause that is so daring and willing to put themselves in this circumstance for us to watch for our entertainment. And I just hope that they all get fulfillment out of it in the end. Truly, that's it. They find themselves a little more. They find the love they're looking for, whether it's on the show or after. But yeah, sorry, I'm on those positive vibes today.
Yeah, no, it's good, and it's definitely needed because, like, you said I can tell it's getting hard. It's getting
Yeah.
challenging for people, and we're seeing that in the behavior literally left and right. So I am with you on commending them for showing up, because as I was watching, I was like, no, oh, I couldn't do no,
Mm-mm.
no, not,
Nope.
I would never do this. No.
Never say never,
Right.
because I would probably encourage you hashtag make you do it if this something like this came along because of that, right? Like,
Right.
that's the whole point. If you really want something in your life and it's not there, do what scares you. Do what scares you, because that fear will turn into something that is equivocally yours, physically, material, spiritually, and every single taste bud can taste it, right? So
Amen. Well, it definitely scares me.
good. So we're
But
gonna get you on the show.
y'all hear him, right, y'all? Y'all gonna drag me on the show. I won't kick and scream, I
Oh
promise.
my god, am I gonna be doing this by myself next time?
Right, talking about me. I'll
No,
come on with
that's
you.
okay. You know what? We're gonna just have Sabrina take your place while you're on the show. Sabrina can come on and we can talk about it together.
Right, while Walt's in the background cooking in the kitchen.
It can be three of us. Yeah, them they can do it in their little cute, happy married life, and we can. I can be over here and watch you entertain us, speaking that
Oh,
into existence. Not that it's something you want. I just like to do it.
done and done. I receive that. I am open to all the goodness that the universe has for me.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Mm. So, oh my goodness, this episode made me uncomfortable right out the gate because, first of all, Cornelius, Camille, and why do I keep wanting to mess up Zadia's name? I cannot. Zadia, all in a car, and Zadia being like, "Oh, you guys found love," and Cornelius being like, "Zaza, really? What are you doing? Like, don't do that." I could never be gushing over a man who speaks that way while I'm sitting right there,
Mm.
especially. That made me
So you
uncomfortable
so you feel Camille's pain is what you're saying. You feel that
through
uncomfortable feeling.
through the entire episode.
Oh.
And it was really such a weird trigger because I'm like, can she not see that?
Well, there's a lot of things that I'm wondering if she can't see or not. But on top of that, but didn't she put herself in this position? Hasn't he been consistent this whole time?
Yeah. But for us to be going down this line and him still not budging emotionally anywhere, and almost actually, because there was a few times, even in the car, she did something. She had her arm over there. She was doing something, and he was kind of
Yeah.
away when they were out and about. And she had on that beautiful powder blue head wrap.
God, she looked
Looked
amazing.
cute. It was amazing.
The only thing he cared about was being a part of the brown girl squad. He wanted to be a part of that so bad. I mean, it makes sense, right? He
He
was
wanted to be a
really,
brown girl
he
too.
sure does. But I did have to rename them. I'm sorry, at least for when I was watching it, how I perceived it. I renamed them the brown girl mean squires.
But wait,
I
they put
had
Mumin
to.
in that, didn't they? Isn't
Yeah,
it
but she was
Mumin?
kind of acting like that this episode. I'm not gonna lie. It's the immaturity that I said that still was around her, that just you could see that she wasn't ready to move. I've been saying it from the beginning of these reviews, these
Mm.
whatever we're calling them. She still lacks a little bit of maturity and self-awareness, and that's what I believe would be a blocker with her and Walter, and it showed itself this episode. Nothing against her, just my observation. And
Yeah.
it came to be, and especially
Mm.
especially if you're putting yourself in a threesome with the brown girl mean squires. Like, you got queens over there: Sabrina, Aisha, Shiloh, and Sydney. And then you have these squires just mad that they're not queens yet. And it just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry that was shady, but that's how I felt watching this episode the whole time.
I have to say I was disappointed because like you're on point with that. You did say that earlier, and it was a little challenging for me to see, especially because Mumin has done such a great job holding her own. I was like, girl, what happened to the throne that you were sitting on? Where is your crown? Don't you
You
dare
know,
budge.
they say, yes, she was showing her crown last
But the
episode, but
truth,
they just say you are who you surround yourself with. And if she's been hanging out with those two, it's showing.
ouch.
I don't mean to be mean. Look,
No,
I
but
know
it's
Camille watches our
true.
things and she comments, and I think she has a fantastic personality. She's
Hmm.
hilarious.
She is.
I
She's
think she is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. That body, she's gorgeous. She's a
yeah,
bombshell, no doubt about that.
right.
But it's just this is a great opportunity for growth for her, and I know that she is an artist at heart. So I know that she, in at the core, you can see it when she's vulnerable and authentic. Desires nothing but growth in life.
You talking about Mumin
I'm talking
or
about
Camille?
Camille. My bad.
Okay, okay, that's you said it, but I want to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Camille
Mm-hmm.
is, it's she's saying, here I come again with the ratings, to give the ratings of, like, and I, I know people that have been in reality TV, and some of them are very much like, yeah, you can't edit what I say.
Yeah.
I accept how I was, and
Yeah.
I get to grow and learn from it. And then you have some people, like she seems to be in the state of mind where it's a little too much to see and to handle, so you kind of deflect the fact that, like, it's some growth could be had. And especially her being an artist, growth is going to be had in every moment that is possible, that you are blessed to be alive. So
Yeah.
you
And
know
actually, Sabrina said that specifically, even though I'm jumping around a little bit, she said that Camille has a lot of growing up to do, and Cornelius is not ready if he can't see the red flags. I mean, is there any other way to sum that up?
no, I mean, she's a queen. She said it perfectly. And yeah, done and done. What else do you say to that? How else do you not see that in this experience you're a reflection of what you're giving off? And look at them. The people that are paired together are showing that they're still too immature for this real process.
Yeah, and I actually been seeing a lot when I skim through the gram and look at comments and things. And some people are like, "Oh my God, everybody's so superficial. That's why nobody's finding love. I'm not seeing any real connections and all this and that." And even though I don't fully agree that there's no real connections, I definitely am overall seeing this as much more of a growth process for people. So I even have to accept that in my own life, and I really have to accept that every day. Like, okay, the last situation that I entered, I can only honor it for the growth because I feel ready to love. I entered that just like I would enter the show with the hope in mind, like I'm ready to love, I want to do this thing. And sometimes it doesn't turn out to be a match made in heaven. Sometimes it is the type of relationship that only shows you where you can grow. But isn't that something we should be grateful and thankful for, because that's part of the process and what's going to take us to where we say we're ready to love.
Absolutely. I also want to provide them with grace, because they are on a rapid train of desire and love, speeding full force, full speed ahead, expecting to reach that destination at such an extraordinary amount of time. So
Yeah.
there's that, and we deal with that just as humans every day, just to transport us to the future version of ourselves so quickly, and what we desire. That's probably why people aren't seeing what they think as heart or people being genuine. Is because how do you do that genuinely? And I think a great example of time being the part of the process is, we'll get to them later, is Aisha and Dante. So,
I really like that and appreciated
and it's
that. And it
also a
makes
really good
sense.
reminder that, like, we tend to try to speed through things so much in life, and sometimes it works out. Look, if Sabrina and Walter work out, it's proof that it does work out. And then sometimes it doesn't. It's a point of view, it's a perspective, it's to each their own. It's someone wearing a shoe that would never fit you because you never walk a day in their life if you tried.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to hold grace for, these people that are putting themselves on TV when they do this. Now, we're still going to have our opinions. You put yourself on TV, that's the whole point. That's what we talk about this for, right?
Correct.
But, never take for granted or take anything that we have to say as anything that is disheartening or intentionally trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah, no, very well said. And I definitely agree when it comes to the time aspect, because it's both sides of the thing. It's like there can be this thing where it's like you did it, you're together, done and done. And then there's walking the process, and we don't know how it's going to happen. When you make the declaration, I am ready to love, you just got to be prepared for what comes in. We don't know the time, the speed, the look, all of these things. So it's being
Sometimes
depicted.
you got to keep proving over and over and over again you're ready for love until you're actually there and ready. It's just a part of the process, and it's
Lord.
just how it goes.
Yeah, so I wrote down Cornelius taking his hand back, blah, blah, blah. Another thing that I observed right from the gate is all the girls are asking, like, are you ready? Are you ready? What do you do? And all the
They're
guys are
not
like,
taking.
meh.
I see both. I see it's at that point now where I wrote something about this too. We're going out of order, and I have mine like in order.
I know, it's
But
okay.
it's
Well,
like,
yeah. Yeah, look, I'm with you.
just
I'm like,
a
it's in
whole
order.
essay,
Yeah.
front and back. It's something I realized as well too. It's, you're watching them and you're seeing both parties just really hesitant to like say and move forward, and that's real life, right? That is real life when you
Oh,
just
it is.
are. You're starting to feel the feels. You're starting to get emotionally invested. Those past triggers are starting to be brought up, of rejection, of fear, of actually taking the next step to what love is. So you push the brakes, and then you feel the other person push the brakes. You're both pushing the brakes. You're both not complete. It's just, it's turning into this huge car wreck. You're seeing that happen,
Yeah.
right?
A wreck.
Um, it's a wreck. I mean, that Tinder table was definitely a wreck.
Oh my
Everybody's
God.
fears and insecurities were really coming to face full force.
Yeah.
But let's back up. Let's get there. Can we? I think the first car ride was Sabrina and Walter, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
I loved
they
that.
seem so cool and calm, but it was still that energy. And that's why I brought up, I'm seeing from the men, even she had said something, asked something about what does he see? And I think she did, what does he want? Where does he see her? And I think she did it in a very healthy and mature way. It wasn't too, her energy wasn't too rocked in this. But even him just being like, and I know he's going through the him and Mumin thing, but it's still, yeah, it's real life, but it's uncomfortable, because
It's
then it's like, well, what
frustrating.
are we doing? And then are we sharing a room, and we're in a car and this and that, and you still don't know? Yeah, like you said, pushing the brakes on both sides, that would make me want to be like, am I doing too much? Because I feel decided.
There is
Mm-mm-mm.
nothing worse than being in Sabrina's shoes, where you are present, you are there, you know what you want, and then dealing with a man who says they want you, but they're still trying to figure out some other side piece. There is nothing more
It's
frustrating
the worst, to be
than that.
honest.
It's the
Yeah, it's the
worst.
worst.
And to still be able to, like, I don't know how Sabrina's still present during all this. I
She's
don't know,
very calm.
like, and just I don't know if I could be. You know what I mean? Like, it would just trigger me so
I'd be
hard, the
triggered.
fact that, like, we're here and you're still trying to look somewhere else. What's that
Then
going to
why
look
am I
like for my
here?
future with us?
Yeah,
Why? What's
exactly.
going on?
Yeah.
And did it have to take Mumin showing her maturity and level of awareness, which is not lined up with you, for you to really realize that that doesn't work, and then for you to really focus on Sabrina? Can't we just be in our 40s as men and just not even have to go that route and just see clearly, fearlessly dive in and just embrace and embody and welcome in what we really want?
Could
I
you
mean,
just preach that and say that one more time? Because that is all I want in my life.
you're going to have to record this and play it again, because I
I'm
have no
gonna have
idea
to
what I said.
re-record
That
this
was a
and play.
channeling moment.
That was a channeling moment, because this is, you just took that, like, this is all it needs to be.
Oh,
That
it's
is
just,
all it needs to be. And this is what racks my nerves about this social experiment. It makes me feel some kind of way, because yeah, as a man in your 40s, you either see me or you don't. You still this much time down the road. I don't even care if it's a month, 3 weeks. What do you want?
We are all different. I understand we are all facing different adversity, so to speak, in the way that we're moving through our own emotional complexities that are allowing us to just stand centered and grounded and as we are. I understand that. But if I were Walter,
you gonna mess
why
around?
would you? Why I wouldn't need to look anywhere else. I have
understand.
the full package in front of me.
Yeah.
And the person that sees me and I see, and that connection was instant from the jump. Like we heard and we saw each other. It just shows what you've been saying. You're not sure if Walter's ready or not. And that's okay. That's what this process is for. But yeah, it trips me out that if I were Walter, because I am ready, I would have already been like, I would have already told Sabrina that she's the one. Yep. She would have told me she's a stripper. I would have been like, that's amazing. You're freaky like me.
Yeah, why exactly?
Like,
why
great,
you go front,
awesome,
boy?
Perfect. Good for you. I'm glad that you're done with it now because I'm probably too jealous to handle that at this stage in my life. But I'm glad you lived your best life. And if you looked at her Instagram, she won like best body or something in 2002, rightfully deserved. Like you were doing your thing. Yeah. No judgment at all. Actually, it's glorified. Good for you for doing what you got to do to survive.
Absolutely.
And actually enjoying it, being a part of the process. Like, come on. Come on.
We talk about you, girl.
She's here.
We are talking about you, girl.
We're going off on you right now in the best way, of course, possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know,
we don't get Walter's point, like how in these moments he's fluctuating between you and Momine, as beautiful and delightful as Momine is, you know, just that maturity level doesn't meet yours and that grace hasn't met yours. And if our Walter, it'd be a done deal from the jump. You are the complete package. You embody all of it, stripper past and all. That actually makes you even more of a package. So we just don't get how Walter can be 45 and still be like, what? But you staying as calm and collected and graceful as you have been during this process, I mean, I couldn't do it. I got to pick my hair up. I dropped it.
Yeah, you know, that's what we're talking about. I wouldn't be able to do it because I'd be looking, oh no. I would be looking at Walter the same way. Like if that would make me feel some kind of way. And this gives me an opportunity to kind of face what would be my triggers because Sabrina, I'm going to have to take a page from your book because I think that probably would have sent me. I am a Gemini. There is another side. I would have been like, what does he mean he does not know? I would have been playing games with some of the other boys all trip. And that probably wouldn't have got me anywhere either. So I love that she is very, you know what you want. You said it last episode, you know, daddy is coming home. And really that was the same energy that Momine was carrying last episode and did not keep. There just has to come a point where you stand in the truth of who you are and in the fullness of it, remain present and let be what's going to be. Because when you start acting out and doing too much, nobody's about to sit up there and force or convince or perform for a dude to choose you. Like at the end of the day, honey, you have got to know because that's the only way we're going to have any longevity, you know, but I'm also not going to front like that. I want you to know right now. And I want you to tell me something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, Sabrina, you got to be consistent.
Yes. If you can't be consistent this early on, how am I supposed to spend a lifetime with this? Like, that's terrifying.
Can we please? It's terrifying. And we're seeing a lot of that inconsistency when it comes to, well, consistently inconsistent when it comes to Cornelius and Camille. But yeah, it's definitely that thing, you know, I understand where Momine is coming from. And sometimes I think that car wreck of emotions that we end up having is almost that telltale sign like, well, boo, it might be time to get off this ride. I just don't think this one is for you. And you can't expect, I was confused in that piano room moment. Yes, they wrote a song. I was sold. I was like, y'all wrote a song. That's cute. I didn't even know y'all had that in mind. But then you're going to come back to the same room when he's sitting there chilling with someone else and expect there not to be an energy shift. How? Yeah. Like, why would you let him, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that just set off her trigger of what she knew was that was another moment that she wasn't going to be able to embrace and have again. And that she had to watch another woman share a similar moment with the man that she wants to have those moments with. I mean, that can't be easy.
Yeah. It's hard. I want to read that one.
Exactly. You have to be really confident in who you are and what you want. Yes.
You have to be.
You can't waver from that, unfortunately. Fortunately, actually, you can't waver from that. Not at our age. Not when you're grown, ripe, and sexy and delicious. You can't waver from that shit. And that's exactly what you are doing. You and Aisha and Shiloh are just...
And even Sydney. Sydney's in that pot. She's doing a good job.
And Sydney. She's the baby and she's handling like a full-grown queen woman. It's amazing.
Yeah. Now, she doesn't really have anybody at her neck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I was really disappointed with that
She did a couple
situation.
episodes ago. She had the I don't know if you heard the Sabrina or not, but I renamed them the Brown Girl Mean Squires instead of, because y'all are over there acting like queens, and then these other girls are acting like squires. They're just not even at that level of integrity yet, at least from what I'm seeing on the show.
I'm so sad for them because I like these girls and I want to see them
Yes.
do well, but like, damn, it is what it is. Yeah, Sabrina, it's easy when you're secure with yourself, and that is something that takes a maturation and some work to get to, because no matter no matter what it is that you come to, it has to be that. And that's what makes you safe. That's what makes you marriage material. That's what a guy would be able to pour all his eggs in that basket on, because you're not giving that flaky, crazy foundation that is just like, I don't know what she's going to do. Cornelius is terrified. Aisha was feeling the same thing I was feeling. Like, sweetie, blink twice if you need to be airlifted out. Sit across the table. Do this. I gave you a necklace. I was just like, she freaks me out. I would have to run. I'd be out the door. I'd be out the door. So they're definitely, you have to be secure within yourself, no matter how many women are around. Like, look at this test.
Yes.
Sabrina didn't budge.
No, not at all. Never mind. I won't talk about Corny and Cam. I'll do that for later. But yes. Back to the car rides.
Yeah.
Corny said that it's been a lot of work.
Did you see his face when he said that?
Yeah. And it hasn't been a lot of work. So I don't understand where you think that should lead you to where you are right now in a healthy space. Like,
well, that's what
is that another
saying.
form of his denial? Like, because we've noticed that he I don't want to call it denial, but I want to call it denial because that's how I see it. But he just isn't really in tune with like what's happening. You know
Right.
what I mean?
No, not at all.
It's like, so, but you know what? Neither is Camille. They're reflecting each other in that sense. They both are kind of living in these ideals of what the world looks like, and they're not really dropped in authentically to who they are. And it's very evident.
Is your light attacking you right now?
I'm loopy.
No, but Sabrina said that, and I'll repeat it again. Camille has a lot of growing up to do, and Cornelius is not ready if he can't see the flags, and that just sounds like a recipe for disaster. Camille's not catching the signs, and of course, we know there's things that we're not seeing on camera and all of these other things. But it's just like I'm watching this man and his body language, and that made my gut ache. Like, I cannot. If you're not seeing that, why are you so? We've already had our ups and downs, and why are y'all having ups and downs this early? This is not ups and downs time. This is what
y'all having ups and downs out of my mouth. How are you having ups and downs this catastrophically? Like, it is the Richter scale. It is a 12.0. It is unheard of. The earth is shaking like it's never been shaking in its whole entire existence, and you're still just like, nothing's happening.
I love him. He's my boo.
Oh, and I don't know. I don't want to get her mad. Don't try to get me in trouble.
I can't do it. I love them as people, but I will not stand for this.
No.
Sabrina, you said it the best. If the woman does not get chosen, it should be okay. Doesn't mean your crown is shifted. It just means your king isn't there. Ooh. If we could only be so upright to literally receive that, it's gotta be okay. When do we get to the point as women where we're not letting our emotions and our ego drive, and we allow ourselves to surrender fully and trust the process? I'm telling you, these are things that have been on my mind heavy these days, because even in my personal situation, I'm like, this didn't work out. This person wanted to be there. Why? That's got to be okay.
Yeah. We had a conversation today.
We did, because I was talking to another friend of mine. Like, I'm telling her, girl, just because this is going down this way doesn't mean your love isn't good. It doesn't mean you're not beautiful. You're not less than. It's none of these things, but we tend to take it personally when it's not. And I think that's very detrimental to not only the relationship when we crash it, but to ourselves when we try to get into something else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, men and women alike, there's so many different scenarios that are going on in this world these days. And, for me being a gay man, it's not that I'm always the one choosing. I didn't choose not to be chosen last time, and that's never easy. Yeah, but all you can do is just adjust that crown. And that's the conversation we had earlier, which was, then who am I not to trust that what's coming for me is my true king or my true queen, whatever that applies to in your personal life? If you are living in this space of which Sabrina obviously is living in, and you and I are living in, and it's from a it's from an accumulation of work that you've been doing consistently on yourself,
Yeah.
of just knowing you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You can still get shifted, like she said, that crown can just go a little like this, but it doesn't mean you don't just adjust it and recognize, yeah, who am I not to trust that was just not right for me? As much as I wanted it to be, as much as I thought it was going to be, when can we surrender to the process, to it just being what it is, chosen or not? And as a man, you also choose sometimes, and they say no as well. So, lucky for you guys, I've had to face both experiences, which has been great.
I'm not jealous. I'm not really jealous of you.
You know what? But truly, genuinely, I wouldn't take any of it back, because it's helped me become really, really clear. Really clear.
Absolutely. Love you both. Or love your hair.
I know, her hair looks really good.
Yes, had to get it in, honey. Just a little switch up. Thank you. I love it. Oh, girl, thank you so much
Sabrina.
for coming in. We're about to get on your other castmates, so you can catch the replay. But thank you for showing up and keep killing it. See you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah, no, I mean, and just lastly on the thing we were talking about before we move on to some of these other couples is what you just said and what Sabrina said about it just means that your king isn't there and things like that. That feels and sounds freeing. That's something that we should be excited about.
Absolutely.
Like, you were excited to get into this position in the first place and see what was available for you. So why not keep that same energy and just know that it's going to be something better? It has to be better. So ego aside, that should make somebody very happy.
Also, by the way, I don't know if y'all know, if you don't follow Sabrina on Instagram, she has like a whole clothing line too, which is
I followed today.
Yeah, she has these beautiful like kimonos, custom made. She had a yin and yang one today. It was like these white sleeves and this black dress. It was gorgeous. So check that out, because she has some incredible stuff on there.
Yeah, get up on that. And I love the shout out. Thanks for bringing that up. So we talked about now
one night when Tommy was like, one night, women, what are you gonna do? One night. That's a really short time. Like, I do not envy those women.
But look at everything that went down in that one night. There was a lot of stuff that went down.
I kind of had to. I mean,
I'm not mad at Dante this episode. Dante. Okay, Dante.
He showed up. Dante showed up. He showed good face. He showed that he was wearing a crown. Because I feel like Dante's had a hat on this whole time. I couldn't see the crown. He took that hat off and was like, because what had happened was he found the woman that he wanted to show his crown to.
I'm not mad at that. And the polar opposites became very apparent in the unfoldings in this one little night we're talking about. Because he came in talking about Zadia is my number one. But then he felt like it wasn't reciprocated.
Well, she also, I think, acted a court, like, in a way that he didn't resonate. What's that word? I can't think of it right now. It's itching.
No, I think resonated is a good word. It didn't resonate for him. It didn't work for him. He was embarrassed. There was a lot of embarrassing behavior. And men tend to be a little bit more logical and a little more even keeled. Y'all got a little bit more serotonin, and women, we can get real feisty real quick, and I believe that all of the guys there were just trying to bring them down because it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's not a man, from what I know, he's got to be able to take you out, girl. And if you cat fighting at a table, it's going to become very challenging for him to trust you out in public or with friends or with,
especially with all these men who seem to have some really prominent great goals, where they're going to be around a lot of different people who their lady's going to have to represent their brand just as much as they are,
representing the brand. Ooh, that was tough, so I do think Zadia really shot herself in the foot with that. What she has prided herself with thus far ended up being her downfall. You know, it was looking good for a minute, but and it's okay to be strong and to hold your own and have jokes and to be this and that. But when that behavior is taken too far, it's just it ended up being the problem.
Sorry, I'm lost in my notes trying to talk about this.
Yeah, no, we just went to that. But, you know, Dante, he said a few things. He was like, this has given us an opportunity to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, which I completely love his perspective on that. And then, you know, also when it came to everything that went on at the table and he was looking at how Camille was treating Cornelius, he was just like, couldn't have been me. Couldn't have been me. So you're seeing the difference even in the men and how they show up and their different personalities and what they're seeing clearly. Like we talk a lot about the women being able to navigate, but the men all in the same boat, they're very different. They're even looking at Camille and Cornelius like we are. Like it couldn't be me. You can't be bossing me around like that. That's not a healthy dynamic between a man and a woman.
Yeah, no, it's not between anybody. Man and man, woman, man and woman. Not,
can't be being bossed around.
You know, where is
she be threatening him?
Where's the balance? Like where is the motion in the ocean that takes from one side to the other as you support each other in the swim from one side of the pool to the other while you're doing laps like harmoniously? They are in the eye of the storm consistently, constantly, and it doesn't make sense when you're watching it. It doesn't make sense. So it makes me think, how are you both in this situation?
We still don't know the answer to that question. And I mean, again, when I'm looking in the Twitter space and all over Instagram, people are like, can y'all just go home and figure out what you're going to do? Because they are really taking up two spaces. To be honest, I think Tasia and
Sean
could have had a little bit more fun on this trip. I'm not mad at it. We said that last episode, but even as more time goes by, I'm just like, man, Camille and Cornelius are taking up space. Because what happens if one of them goes home? Since we don't know who's going home, what happens?
But this is TV, so they're purposely taking up space because Camille is a character. She's causing the drama. She's being herself, which is a hoot, and it's fun, and all those things. Like she said when she responded to you on Twitter, "Here I come, bringing the ratings again." Yeah, they needed that drama. It's a TV show still at the end of the day, so they know what they're doing.
You're right. You always bring me back home with that. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like this is making for good TV.
It's the production part.
Can I just say that I'm not mad at Naeem though. Like, damn, he looks good in a pair of swim trunks, just out there in the sun, brown, glistening, chiseled, bald, beard, moisturized. I was
like, they.
And Zaddy over here talking about she's about to fall asleep. Girl, let's just trade places.
You know what? If we're gonna talk about that, we're gonna talk about that. First of all, she looked incredible. Their bodies made me. I literally wrote here, I wish I could go to the gym right now. They all look so good. But I mean, that's I've said with Zadia since the very first episode. She has these walls up. She has these walls up that she won't let down. And I don't see how people are going to want to come in. And still in this process, she hasn't let them down. And she's even sitting next to the man she wants to let in. And she still has these walls up. And it constitutes to her behavior in the dinner, even how she just had to go off on somebody else and not let her perspective be valid. And that's a whole other situation. I'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
But like, you got to let these walls down. You have to be. I'm not asking you to be any other form of feminine as what you are authentically. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you expect to want love and to be able to let it in, you have to be available for people to see you and want to come in. But I've seen little sparkles, but it seems like every time she's about to, something else triggers her too much that she won't let it in. And I get it. I've been there. I understand what that's like. But then you look at these other women who are really ready to love, and they don't let that offset their track to their destination of that stop. What the end of the show says is love.
You know, I agree. Because, you know, I've been a fan of Zadia since the very beginning. And the presence that I saw has always been beautiful, that I see is beautiful, but I wanted more from her. I wanted to see a blossoming. I wanted to see an unfolding. And I feel like we're still dealing with day one Zadia.
Yeah.
And even as a viewer, that's a little uncomfortable. Like, girl, I'm about to move on from you. I was team Zadia like this whole, even when you had your little spat at the last thing, it doesn't take anything away from you because I'm very understanding and I understand grace and your perspective. But at this point, like, I'm about to be finished because there's nowhere to go, you know, with her. And I was a little bit disappointed. We can talk. You want to talk about the dinner? We can talk about the dinner.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get my question while I'm at it. That's okay.
Oh, yeah. Let's dive into this. Give the question to the people.
Does anybody else agree with Zadia and what she did and what she said about Aisha's perspective not making sense? Does anybody agree with Zadia? I would love to know what everyone thought about that little quarrel, because my personal answer was I actually didn't agree with Zadia. I thought that Aisha was being very clear and concise, and it was very much so making sense to me what she was saying. I heard her, and it kind of alarmed me that Zadia didn't. And it was just like, oh, I get it. She's probably hurting because she's feeling the rejection. So I don't know. I'm not going to go into the whole cycle, part of it. But what do y'all think? What about you, James?
I did not agree with Zadia at all, especially when it comes
She kept
to
saying her
people's...
thing. Sorry, she kept saying. Sorry. But she just
Mhm.
kept saying that she was wrong. That her like Aisha was wrong, or it didn't make sense, or it wasn't right. She wasn't valid. That was just really hard to hear. So that's why I was asking this question.
But see, this is my thing. Her opinion don't got to be valid to you. So what
Thank
are
you.
you really saying?
Thank you.
An opinion is reserved for the person's container who is taking in what they hear and it's flowing through their experience and coming out in their own way. I can never try to tell somebody that their opinion or the way they view things or how they work their process is wrong.
Or doesn't matter, or it's not heard, and it's
God
all that,
himself gives us free will and is not finna tell you what you thinking is wrong. Like, let the girl do what she, and obviously it's working. So is that the underlying issue?
Yeah.
Because Aisha looked like she having a good time. I want my
Really
booty
good
rubbed
time.
too. Okay.
Ooh, the way she got on that table, I'm squipping your head, but she was on that table. She was like,
I need it all. Cameras, goodbye. Shut the door.
Let's go back. I'm getting excited.
I know.
Um, I loved how the battle for Walter began, though, on a piano. That was hilarious.
That is funny.
And I was like, stay right. I don't know if that's the right idea for Walter. I think he actually needs to go left because that's where Sabrina's standing. But
did you catch that?
Did you catch? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She
Yeah.
was on the left. Go left.
It was, yeah.
Right's not right for you. Trust me.
No, it's not. It's not going to work. And I love where Mumin's head's at, but I do think that, and I hate to always bring in ego. The ego. But if you're really stopping to look at what's going on, you can almost clearly see that there's no space for you here. And again, that should be okay. It's okay to like somebody, but what makes this process hard is you have to keep your head long enough, because we're starting to see people's emotions. You have to keep your head long enough to allow. You have to allow. And I don't think that she was right in not giving, she said she was getting not now vibes from Walter. So then why are you walking in the room if your spirit told you not now? Why we can't do not now?
I think the hard part lies in the fact that you're still supposed to fight for what you want, and especially in the show, you're still supposed to show up even when you're exhausted and when you don't want to. You got to show up if you want that, right? Even in real life, I hear people say all the time, if you want something, you fight for something, you get it. So I understand that, but also sometimes when you want something, you just don't get it. It's not right for you. So where does the discernment lie in yourself that you can actually see that, accept that, and move forward accordingly outside of the show? On the show, I understand that, you got to put yourself in these positions more than ever, but that's a hard place to be in, I think.
It is, but when you keep your head, this is when you can do what you're really supposed to do when you at war and fighting for something, which is implement a strategy.
Right.
You let your emotions, you don't have no strategy, because when this man was sitting next to you and you was looking gorgeous in your yellow and you really did have him to yourself, you didn't have nothing ready to reel him back in. You wanted to bitch at him. And that is the fastest way to send a guy running out of the door. So your strategy, you can complain later. You might be able to say something, throw something in there real quick, keep it light and funny, but you should have been rubbing on his leg, get your neck rubs back in, singing in his ear. I don't know what you need to do, but the way that it was played, I just feel like she gave Sabrina the upper hand because Sabrina was over there in the pool, like,
Yeah.
sunglasses, sunbathing, like I cannot be bothered.
Well, I get it too, because you're trying to have open communication and be honest with the way that you're feeling. But I just think she wasn't taking into account the circumstance. I think she was still being fueled by her ego and her hurt, that
Her feelings.
she couldn't even from that moment of having open communication with him, then from there still transition into a strategy. Like, because I think there's a lot of power in it. Sabrina is a great example of it. She still tells you how she's feeling and what she's feeling, and then from that she's able to move forward, still accommodate the energy.
Move forward and accommodate.
Yeah, but she just wasn't ready and didn't want that.
No.
And that
she stayed biting at it because even when he
deal.
was like, "I'm still here, but I'm here now, but I'm here now," he kept trying to figure out why. And then you gonna walk
I've been
away.
there. It's hard. I've been there. It's so hard.
It is
when you're in your feelings that much.
Yes, it's hard. It's hard.
It's so hard.
It's hard. It's easy for me to say because I'm on the outside looking in, and it's always easier to say from the outside looking in, especially when emotions are involved. So definitely not knocking Mumin for having her feelings and the courage to even say she's feeling off. But sometimes I just feel like as people, when we feel that in our gut and we feel it in the instincts, blah, 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 we have to make decisions. We have to implement strategy. And then we have to go with what that is. She could have made it more graceful for herself and exited in a different way that almost left him wanting a little bit, and then just redirected her energy to who's her other candidate, Frank, because in all of this, Walter, oh my God, what's going on? Like Frank just kind of slipped through your fingertips. Like,
yeah,
not like she's ever had a grip on him, but he was still at the top of the show speaking about Sydney Mumin. I don't know. He said, I'm about to going to focus like I've never focused before, and they're about to feel it. I was like, oh my God, Frank, well, what is he about to do?
Well, whatever he was doing was working with Sydney. If we want to fast forward to that, the pool, because
talk about
that energy. First of all, Frank's t-shirt, his yellow t-shirt, his confessional looks. I want it.
Oh, nice!
Such a nice shirt.
I was stuck on Dante's looks. I don't remember Frank's yellow shirt. Doggone it.
It's good. But the way that they were flirting, it was sweet. It was cute. It was like they're on this venture of dating together, mutually, moving at the same pace, just staying present.
Yeah.
Enjoying each other.
They just make sense. Enjoying each other. There you go. Very enjoyable. I love how cute Sydney gets so nervous. And I love that because I can be like that too. Just like, oh my God, he's so cool. She's so cute that she's like, oh, he's just so touchy-feely, like very girlish. And
it's not cute. Like put on when she does it. It's just her. It's authentic. Yeah. It's natural. And it's so easy to enjoy.
Yes, exactly. And I know Frank loves that. You can just see it. You can feel it. And, even in the deliberation at the end, Sydney was just like, that's bae. Like, that's boo.
Even he's a people pleaser, that's what he's good at. So
even with a Phil on the table, she's still like, well, Frank is boo. I'm like, okay, Frank, because Phil. Speaking of Phil, oh my God, Phil, you just gonna let Dante swoop you on your chick like that? Like Dante was like, that was the move. That was like all of the move. I think Phil.
That was strategy. That was.
Thank you.
That was some emperor shit. He came over and took over a whole
in a robe. You gonna
territory,
be in a
kingdom.
And she went.
Who wouldn't have? Like
correct, because I asked myself the same question. I'm gonna go. Thanks for the talk.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
I would have had the same remark that she had at the end. Can you shut the cameras off now, please? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm getting my booty rubbed.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I am starting to see with Phil how his ex was kind of like, I think she said something at the table when she was with Tasia and Shiloh, and they had that date with the exes, and she kind of said something about him needing to be a little bit more open and things like that, which I'm kind of seeing that now, because it's like, if you like me, there has to be that fine line and that balance. Like, we can sit and talk. I'll let you vent. I'll give you advice and all this, but your friend rolled it a little bit too much, and this man came in with his shirt open. He's trying to, like, I'm here for love. I love our friendship, and I'm glad we got to talk about this, but there was nothing there that I was seeing that was so open enough to keep. We want the cuddles and the boo time too, you know.
Dante was a masterclass in that, but I would expect Dante to be a masterclass in that because he has 3 kids.
Dante
so
been finessing.
He knows how to finesse situations very well. I mean, I took a lesson from that because I think I can get caught into the mentality of where Frank is too much just having to be that cell of myself and be like charismatic and be this, you know, personality in this person, as opposed to then be able to switch into what Dante did, which was like show the emotional complexity and the intimacy and like dive in and like take that and own that and, you know, make this beautiful alchemy of a mixture of both of them, which ultimately leads to love. So
he did a great job.
That was really great.
Dante. Like one time for
Dante.
I
really hope they end up together.
I'm not mad at that. I feel, and the way she talks about him, he's a man's man. He's a gentleman. Zadia said the same thing about him. It's sexy, honestly. Like, this is the first time Dante has been slowly pulling on my heartslings, although I'm not a fan of, you know, his situation. And I know that can be hard. It's not an impossible situation. It's just not for everybody. But slowly but surely, I'm like, trying to find him on Instagram.
If anybody's equipped for it, though, it's Aisha. Shut up.
Come on. No,
you know what I mean? If anyone's equipped for that situation, it's her.
Yeah.
You know,
and
the way she communicates. When he said, my Brooklyn bombshell,
the Bronx bombshell,
the Bronx bombshell. Did you see the glisten in his eyes? Like, I dare to say that he's already in love with her.
He loves her, and there is something beautiful about being able to talk on the phone and build up that that chemistry, that juice.
And Zadia is hating on that so much. She's hating so bad on it because even her being immersed in the situation in person, she still doesn't have what she wants, and that's why she's trying to throw that shit at Aisha. And she's like, no.
No, boo, you big mad right now, and you know how you and I.
You're acting in your feelings, so you gotta, it's showing, and now you just pushed away everybody that was available possibly by showing your face.
Nothing. Showing your face and showing nothing at the same time, because you know how it is, right? It's so coincidence that by the end, it's like she's the hater. But at the table, you was calling Aisha haterish. So I really think that there's something going on where it's like this whole mirroring thing where what you're putting out is becoming evident in how you actually really feel. You actually don't feel secure in your process. You are actually feeling the hater vibes, like, and you're putting that out when that's not really what it is.
Yeah.
It's only a reflection of what you've actually exemplified during this process. And that can be really a hard pill to swallow, especially when it comes to being chosen and to being loved.
Especially when you're that much of a control freak. Take one from who knows what it's being like. But can I just backtrack for 1 second because I messed up?
What?
Frank's shirt was not. So speaking of Dante's look in the confessionals, he was wearing that yellow shirt.
Okay.
I want that shirt.
Okay.
Frank had this like floral situation on. It was so dope. I wanted it in my life.
Sorry, Dante.
I got that right.
Yeah, Dante did a little bit for me in this one. So yeah, you're right. Now I remember the yellow. And he had on a nice shirt. He just showed up. I felt like I could smell Dante through the TV. I was like,
he was on one, especially when he called Camille and Corny the possible situationship.
He was on one the whole time. Like, he was like, that is not for me. Like, I'm not good with that.
I like it. I like that he got as much camera time as he did this time.
Me too.
Really good.
Speaking of camera time, I guess we're not going to see Nye. Like, we're not getting enough of Naeem. I don't even really know who the guy is. He looks damn good in some trunks without no clothes. And he seems like a really nice, upstanding guy. But I guess.
I think he's a reflection of Zadia.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I
think they're both reflecting that in each other. And I think his ex was right when he, and everybody else, when, not to, discredit what he said when he commented on your Twitter, I just think maybe he doesn't see that aspect of himself yet, because it seems that everybody around him sees that he is being blinded by something and he's not seeing the full picture. But maybe after this episode he is, because we're not there in real time, of course. But
who else would he connect with if he wasn't kind of attracting the mirror of himself, which is low-key Zadia in certain areas? Who else can you see?
I don't think on this show anybody for him.
Yeah, I think we kind of said that in episode 2. We were just kind of looking back, like, we think Naeem is great, but we didn't get enough and we're not really seeing him because didn't him and Zadia have that awkward date at the bar? I wasn't getting enough. But when he did that group date with him, I think it was Zadia, Shiloh, and somebody else, I thought maybe him, Shiloh or Tasia could have possibly gotten his attention, but it just never happened.
No, unfortunately. And I really
Yeah.
like Naeem. I really like his energy. There's something
Yeah.
about him that I just really enjoy. Like he
Mm-hmm.
seems like he'd probably be a friend. He seems
Agreed.
like a really good
Safe.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Safe, but and I feel like maybe that's how him and Zadia are reflecting each other in on opposite poles of the spectrum.
Yeah, no, I agree with because both of them have been told they're not opening up, they're not emotional enough, they're not da 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 da. But yet
Yeah.
here they are together in every episode. So there's definitely something there. I do like the way, yeah, the men were not having all that cattiness, but
They took a lot from it in the best way possible. They took the right stuff, the right
you're right.
things.
You're absolutely correct. Because I feel like Aisha didn't have to go as far as she did. I am on the same page as Phil, where it's like, why argue with anybody about your process? She could have kept her head. I'm not knocking her for not, because I get it.
No,
but
Phil was right on that part. He
yeah.
really, because honestly, truly, she said it too. She just wanted to get a rise out of her, and she let her get it. I have nothing to say. I mean,
no, because I know that energy that Zadia has, that thing where you sit in the corner and just kind of like
what did she
pop
say?
in a little bit.
When she was basically saying, what did she say? She was like, oh, I lost it. But basically, like, somebody, I lost it.
While you're grabbing that, let's just say hi to B. Thank you, B. She said, hi, guys. Just
hi,
dropping
B.
in before I go to bed. Thanks for
coming in, B. Sweet dreams.
I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Thank you.
Hope you're enjoying the show.
Yes. Yeah, so we were talking about Zadia, how she was kind of poking at Aisha over dinner. Like a little bit of an instigator. That silent instigator is the worst because you don't have to be rah-rah to get a rise out of somebody. You just have to nitpick and bite just a little bit. And she was just, that's kind of what Dante got on Zadia about. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to keep going.
Yeah, you sound like you came in hot. And she was basically like, she was in denial. She was like, but I didn't do that. It was like, oh God. And it wasn't a sweet, like, what are you talking about? I didn't do that. Okay, no. I messed up. It was very like denial.
You knew what you did.
Yeah, but like really just not wanting to accept it and see it. And it makes sense because she hangs with the 2 other people that seem to be doing a lot of that, and your friends are who you surround yourself with, and that's how the world will perceive you, and that's what you'll become. And that's really evident, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, B.
I was like, yes, he is.
I was deep in thought. And
you're gonna make him blush.
I already am. And it's really evident with the way that they're all communicating and acting that they're not a good fit as friends, to be quite honest. I've been in that situation where I've had friends who actually didn't help me show my best self. They actually exalted and showed the sides of me that probably weren't my best look. So,
and we get comfortable in that, right? We want to have,
because it's easier to avoid than actually face, right?
Exactly. You want to have yes men around you, people that condone your behavior when you're not interested in growing past it. And it takes time. Yeah, exactly. It takes time to be able to do that. But again, like we said at the top of the show, this is an opportunity where everybody has an opportunity to grow. And I think that they will when they see this, like, well, I'm going to stop doing that shit right now because that's not working for me.
No.
Let's see. Yes, Phil, Dante, we went over that. Yeah. Did we miss any juice up in there? I
feel like we covered most of it.
Messed it already, blah, blah, blah. Combative about Dante and Chico on the bicycle.
When they came to the table the next morning, and
everybody
said the energy at the table is different. Because the brown girl mean squires weren't there. I mean, that was hilarious.
They cheersed and everything. Everybody was cheesing.
Yeah.
you know, and side note too, we haven't seen much of Shiloh, which I'm bummed, but she looks so beautiful at the pool. She's so pretty.
She did. I mean, from what I'm seeing, I'm a little concerned with her and Frank. If we want to talk about like what we
Wait,
think's gonna happen.
Shiloh and Frank?
I'm sorry, Paul,
Oh,
Phil.
Phil. Yeah,
Shiloh and Phil.
I know.
I'm a little concerned. Like even she was all up in the feelings of like we said when you're at that place and you just don't know how to take what you want and how much to bat. And you can. She has to be affected by these other women, especially the fact that they're all the other women that want Phil, as secure and understanding of herself as she is, and she's not really claiming what she wants yet either. And I'm a little surprised by that. But
Mm-hmm.
she does say in a sneak peek of the next episode why that's the case. And she says it's because, the fear of rejection essentially is, it's not something you want to really deal with. It's not really what she said, but
Right.
in short, it's kind of what happened, I think.
Yeah, and I feel for her too because I know that moment. God, it's such a tough moment. And I don't want to put all of the way I feel on what she's feeling, but I just know that moment when you fall for a guy,
Mm-hmm.
when you are like, "Ooh, I'm wide open now." And I feel
Yeah.
like that happened for her when they had the friends meeting because he left the room and she was like, "Whew," like I'm smitten. And I was like, oh girl, I know what that means. Oh God, protect Shiloh. But it's like I think she had that over the hump moment, like where you give over, and then now these 2 episodes are going by, and even though we're not seeing everything, I'm not seeing the sparks, I'm not seeing the chemistry, I'm not seeing what I thought I would see as a maturation of their union. And so I'm concerned too. And to be honest, the more I look at it, even as desired Phil is, I don't see him going home with anybody at this point. If it's not going
I
to be
don't either.
Shiloh, Sydney is not yours.
No.
Aisha got somebody else rubbing on her booty. What are we doing? You got snatched up from the piano.
We said this last week. We said, Sydney and him is just more of a lust situation, and that from the sneak peek of the next episode, it's very apparent that that's what they really are to each other. That the longevity doesn't seem to be there with them either.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
see.
I don't see it either. The more and more I'm watching Phil, it's like I'm doing the opposite with Phil and Dante as the process goes on. I'm
Look
starting
at
to
that.
think Dante is ready. He's experienced this. He's been picked the wrong person 3 times, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Phil is starting to show me that I'm not so sure he actually is ready for this.
I'm not so sure either, but he
And it's
does
weird
seem like a
because
great
every
friend.
every single woman wanted him.
Well, he looks good. We ain't blind. He's
Yeah,
fine.
but I mean, it was more than the looks because he doesn't have the best body and the best looks, quote unquote, out of all the
True.
men there. It
True.
was the vibe, it was the energy, it's the fact that he is a godfather to multiple people. And it's just concerning to me. And maybe it's
Mm.
because I can see the likeness in myself with him. It's that, like,
Mm.
you aren't even aware of your greatness yet to even let that in fully, especially when greatness is staring you right in the face.
Hmm. You know what I tweeted earlier that, when you keep your options too long, like sometimes it becomes, when you keep your options open too long, sometimes it becomes too late.
You better
And
be okay with being alone for the rest of your life.
yeah, I think he was keeping his options open too long because if we go back to episode, I think it was 6 or 7, where they were meeting all the friends, it looked like a good idea in theory that he was kind of playing open and he was saying, it
Committing
seemed
to
like he
Shiloh.
was, yeah,
Right.
it seemed like he was saying the right things, but that lack of commitment might cost him in
Mm-hmm.
the long run. Now
I
I've lost
know
sight of who he could, yeah.
I know many men that I feel like will probably be alone the rest of their life because they do that.
And I don't understand it. And nobody wins in that situation.
Well, they
Like,
might. They might be okay with that eventually. I mean, at the end of the day, when you
well, then
get to
stay off
that
the
point,
show. No, I'm
you
playing.
might as well be okay with it. But maybe that's what the show is. Maybe it's the eye opener to that. Who
Maybe.
knows?
I
We don't
mean,
know.
I guess we'll find
Show's far
out.
from
Yeah.
over. You could
Yeah,
still marry
exactly.
Shiloh or whatever. They could be together. But that's from this moment is the observation of which we're making, and that's the best part about having these conversations with you is that we get to talk about what we're witnessing on this show in these moments, and then the next week we get to have a whole nother conversation about what's happened since then. And sometimes it's steps forward, sometimes it's steps back, sometimes it's staying in the same place. Whatever that is, it's a fun dance to be a part of.
Yeah, it really is because again, how reflective of real life is this? It's like, oh,
Oh wait, oh I was going okay, okay,
yeah,
oh
right, right,
okay,
right.
oh
Whoa,
okay,
okay.
all right, there it is. Okay,
Uh-huh.
yeah, 100%.
Full of it all. So I love it. Let's see. what I put. Oh, Cornelius not showing up, lost in the journey.
I think they're both going home.
God, now that would make for good TV if they were just like, you know what? We're eliminating both of you guys, and we're not going to eliminate anybody this episode because we did two of you already.
Both going home. I hope so.
Yeah, that would just be
Makes more
easier.
sense.
Yeah, because again, whether Cornelius goes home or Camille goes home, which one of them is going to talk to whoever? The next one got to go home because it's going to be a unanimous like, oh, we ain't fooling with her or we ain't fooling with him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, were you surprised to see Walter is on the chopping block as he was in deliberation? Where'd you go? Okay, so I'll ask the audience. Were you guys surprised to see Walter being really high up there when it comes to the choice that the women had to get rid of a dude? I think Zadia even said it. Like, I think Walter is here to play. I don't think, like, a lot of people were like, Walter, nah, I'm not really getting anything from Walter. He was on the chopping block a little bit today. A little bit.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised either because last week Sabrina was on the chopping block because no one else was getting anything from Sabrina. And it's not like Camille and Corny where they are just, it's like you see two people that actually have a connection. So it's like, why would they be in somebody else's mouth or mind?
Right.
You know, that's how it makes sense to me.
And Sabrina has been trying though. Even though she's leaned all the way into Walter, I love the way she still puts out energy in other places a little bit. We're only seeing her kind of dwindle down now, but she's still
but I'm not surprised that nobody else bit because they all know
they can
see
it,
and they all respect Walter too much than to tread in somebody else's territory. But it's TV, so we have to pretend that other things were happening. And right. Yeah, not to blow up the TV world, but it's just. It is
that's a whole nother conversation.
And it's actually healthy when you take it with a grain of salt, because if you get yourself so embedded in the reality of what TV is and you actually believe that's reality, that can mess up your whole entire existence of what you think life is. So
100%.
It's good to remember that some of the stuff is just, a lot of it is just for entertainment, you know?
Right. And additionally, it's a social experiment. And everyone's experimenting here. There's no, there's no playbook.
Everybody should be able to choose whether they want to be a part of an experiment or not.
Absolutely.
And everything in life. So,
well, you know, I don't know who said it, but I was surprised to see someone say that Nye was not moving genuine, because he definitely, and I agree with him, that he's being intentional and making sure his actions match his words. So Aisha found Zadia to be very surface and boring with Nye, which I agree. Very surface and boring was unfortunately perfect. Yeah. But I do believe Nye is being intentional with his words and actions.
I don't think Nye has the tools to actually dig deeper. I don't think he has that. I think he has a tool that's kind of like digging some dirt out of the ground. I don't think he has a tool yet that's actually really like getting to the root so we can upheaval all that shit and take it out and plant something new. And I think it's going to take the right woman in his life that probably hands it to him and encourages him to push a little harder and dig a little deeper. It's like, you know, when you're like with the shovel going into the ground, right? And you can just use your arms and you can try to push in. But when you just give that little foot on top of it to give that extra push in, it makes a world of a difference.
Yeah.
And I think he needs a woman to come into his life and say, hey, babe, if you just put your foot on that and push in a little harder, you're going to take more out.
Right.
And Zadia is not the kind of woman that's going to do that.
No, because she's got to do it within her own soul. She hasn't reached that depth in her own heart yet with what we're seeing. And
B, you're so sweet.
You want to read it?
I love you too already. Love you guys. You are so fucking amazing. Thanks, B. We have fun doing this. We're so grateful you do this. We're honestly we're just talking like this instead of on the phone. So that's why we did this, because this is how we talk every day.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you're enjoying our conversations, our daily natural conversations. Thanks, B.
Love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. And I think that the next episode, I'm so terrible at remembering these, predictions, but let me ask you, who do you think is going home? And those of you watching, feel free to share in the chat. Who do you think is going home? Is it going to be Nye or is it going to be Cornelius?
Both.
You think Tommy's going to come out and just...
Yeah, there's no need for either of them.
Wow.
I don't think either of them are going to bring any more. Look. If someone's going to go home, it's going to be Nye, and they're going to keep Cornelius because of the good ratings of the TV and all the drama, right? But who should be going home? Both of them. Look, I don't think nice
Wow.
person's there.
I don't
I
think his
think
person's there either.
I think Zadia should be going home too. I think she'll quickly realize that Dante's not for her, and I think that Camille should be going home too because there's obviously no one else then if Corny's not there for her. But I wouldn't be surprised then if Camille left with Cornelius.
Yeah, now that might be the plot twist. Like, well, if he's gone, I'm just because she's gonna try to prove her godly love for
You
him.
know, is it just me? And I'm not trying to talk shit, but I'm
Talk your
just
shit.
my observance, my humble-minded observance.
Here we go, y'all. No plan.
When she talks about God, does it feel a little pushed? Does it feel authentic?
No.
It hasn't once felt that way to me. I feel like she's jumping into this character to support the narrative of what she thinks she's supposed to be for Cornelius, which is never going to serve her because Cornelius isn't even accepting and knowing who he is. So for you to keep doing that, you're going to constantly be lost at a crossroads of just not being able to find yourself. And
Well
I
said.
understand a lot of people find themselves through God. That's great. Good for you. That doesn't work for me. There's more to it. There's more to than just that. I can't place my existence to some higher being's hands and think I'm okay because I'm there. That I still got to take accountability for myself and grow in this human form spiritually as well. So, but for some people that works, and if it felt authentic for her, like it was working, I would say so. But just from my perspective, it doesn't feel authentic.
No, it doesn't feel authentic. And the thing is, too, and I completely respect and agree with what you're saying. What I think here feels inauthentic is the Christianity of it. Now, God, let's bring it in. Let's talk about it. But what conversations have you heard between them that were godly? You and I, we will hop on the phone and we talk God. We don't talk religion. We talk about the vastness and the expansiveness of the creator and how to navigate as beings that we are with being that we are little gods as well. And we talk about all these things that are so deep and expansive and exploratory of the truth of something so much bigger than Christianity, religion. I'm not having sex before my parents, my box, my
But
marriage,
that's
my
their truth. A lot of people operate at that level of truth.
correct. And I think that that's what we're seeing. So because that in and of itself is a little bit inauthentic, religion is a really tough thing to deal with and talk about. But because that is already a box to try to put yourself in a box to fit in a box,
I hear you.
it's not coming off authentic at all. Like you can't throw a scripture on a necklace and then say, if he wants to do God and God and God and God and God and God and God, y'all, I can't. And I grew up Christian, so it's not like I don't understand. But what I'm seeing ain't real. It just ain't. It's not. It's not. I'm not.
You're so good at being honest, and I always feel so bad for being honest because it can be mean most of the time. It is. I just can't help it because
You're
it's
not
just.
me.
But like, is she maybe a little like bipolar?
Maybe.
You know, like she goes hot and cold so quick, and I'm not bullying or judging when I say that. I say that in the sense of like, she's an artist, right? She probably just
She's a
goes hot
teacher.
and cold really easily. So she's probably not bipolar, but it can come. This is what I really should be saying because it's really how I feel. It comes across bipolar when she acts like this, when she is giving this necklace and it's ingrained with this God and everything like that. And then she's like, you know, to
You
you
better
it might
keep
be
it
like
on.
that. It's to you, but that's to me, it is not. Like it's really hard to. Like it's really hard to like what's going on, and you know, somebody as confused with who they are and what they are like Cornelius would be entertained by that, no doubt. But that's why no other person connected with her because they're like they're what where how
Yo, I am on the
where
floor right now.
uh,
That was the perfect like caricature of her.
really I just broke my neck.
I know. I'm cutting that up and sharing it with the masses.
Oh shit.
Go
It's
ahead
good.
and
It'll be
take that
the last footage of me actually having a neck, so that'll be good. It'll be worth it.
one.
How does she have a neck after moving her head like that all the time?
Well, you know
Yeah.
what? You definitely brought up a point because you know I have a bipolar sister. And as amazing as she is, sometimes I'm getting that same vibe from Camille. And I'm not going to diagnose the girl. Like, we
No,
love her
that's why I
personality.
was like,
She's
I didn't.
fun.
That's not my
Yeah,
job to
she's
diagnose.
fun.
I'm not
She's
trying to say that.
amazing.
I think
This
she's
is
great. I
not
think
to
she's. I would actually probably love hanging out with Camille.
the hot and cold.
I
Yeah.
really would. I would have
Oh,
a really good time with Camille for
it'd be a
sure.
riot. V
Mm-hmm.
said, I can't either. It would drive me nuts to the point where I would pull my hair out.
I'd be bald. I'd be
But
bald.
Cornelius is bald, and he wants to pull his hair out every 5 seconds.
That's
Are y'all
probably
not
why he
seeing
shaves
his
his head
face?
so frequently. That's why it looks so shiny. Yeah.
His face is just like,
It concerns me, his upbringing and his faith and everything that he clings to, that he would allow this to be his reality. It's really concerning to me from a heartfelt place. I know I make fun of him a lot. And I'm not ever bullying him.
no, he's really sweet. You
He's
know, he seems like
really
I would
sweet.
like to.
He's
Yeah,
probably like a Cancer. He's probably like you know what I mean, like the sign. He's probably a
Cancer.
Cancer because he's that sweet and that nice and just doesn't want conflict. And I because my whole life I always bullied Cancers like that on purpose because I'm a Scorpio. I would like play into that more. It's probably
That
why
is
I'm doing that with him.
hilarious. That's
But
funny.
it really is concerning to me the fact that he is. You know, he has a really great foundation already to be really successful in life. If he could just truly take every single voice he's ever heard in his life out of his mind, go on a solo journey, ignore and forget religion and his mom and his cousins and the world, and just embed himself in his truth and hear his voice, I think he would come out a master. He has the empathy capacity, he has the heart capacity, but so much of that is just being derailed by all these other things and just the lack of authenticity that he's allowing himself to flow from. I think he could be like a master.
You know, I hear you, and I agree on that. And I see B in the chat. I got the bullhorns. I'm a Taurus, and you know
Your
what? I
Taurus is not
low
a
key.
weakness. I love Tauruses.
I think Cornelius might be a Taurus. To be honest, I low key get Taurus vibes
Oh,
from him.
you're right.
I do think a Taurus would sit there and take all that.
Yeah.
And not really.
And they would like that because, yep, that last one for me was a Taurus. And when I was like that jokingly, it was all fun and games. It was yes, yes, yes. But when I got serious and was actually like, boom, it was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. They like the game. They like that game. They like that, like, oh, it's fun. Of course, we're supposed to have fun, but you consistently live in that space. That's where's the future? I mean, what kind of future is it?
What kind of future is it? And I can see too, to me now, Cancer men and Taurus men and Taurus women are different. Taurus women, love them. They take care of me. Y'all just got this special thing where your head is on, you're grounded, your head is on straight, you're strong. I love this. No beef with the Taurus women. But Taurus men, there's two kinds. There's the game player that wants to be over here, be over that, do this, the game, the in and out. I don't know. They'll keep one foot in over here while they're invested over here.
They feed themselves a lot of false narratives and give them the accessibility and ability to do that. They talk themselves into being that way and become
being okay with it.
Yeah.
Or there's another Taurus that like once he makes his choice, he's locked in. He's gonna be loyal. He's not gonna stray. He's not gonna move. He's gonna take the shit. He's gonna let it be hard. He's gonna bull through it. He's gonna be that anchor, and he won't go nowhere. You're gonna have to leave him,
baby. Come on in.
I know.
Come on in.
Right?
Is it grounded in that home?
Grounded.
They have the intention of home, of delicious food. Just delicious life.
Children,
like,
family, commitment, loyalty.
But you know what? Some of them also do pretend that they want all those things and they do not act accordingly.
Correct. And that's why I say you got to identify which one you got when it comes to a Taurus man. So I can't wait to Google when we get off of here and see if I can find Cornelius' birthday on here. Because I just feel like he's a Taurus man. And if not, for my runner-up would be Cancer, like you said. But he's not giving me enough. Who knows? One of the two. But
what about you? Who do you think's going home?
The way Camille was crying, it better be Cornelius. Girl, what you doing all that crying for if he ain't going home? Because she's that dramatic. She could be that triggered, and that'd be good TV. That she's that triggered for the fact that she almost lost him. The way she's crying, I feel like he's going home and she's just about to lose it. But you're probably right, and it might be Nye, because who else is Nye going to connect with?
Well, then
they
again,
might.
it might not be. It might be corny,
It
and
might be.
Nye might be staying because
Him and Zadia still
can
have some
still try to make
work
something
to
work.
do.
But I didn't. Well, obviously they wouldn't show that on the preview. So yeah, it could go either way.
I'm just gonna say Cornelius, because Camille is boohooing like her man is going home. But
And
you could be right. It could just
I'm
be.
gonna say Nye because Camille is boohooing like she almost lost her man because she's out dramatic going anywhere.
Yeah.
And they end up kicking Nye.
And that's what they want us to think.
I wouldn't be surprised if it be a situation.
Or
I think they both
like
should go.
Huh?
Both of them.
I was gonna say either that or Tommy
Bye.
Miles might throw a curveball to us too, and just be like, both of them are going home.
And both women go with them.
Then who would be left? Shiloh,
The couples
Phil,
that are actually there working
Sabrina,
out.
Walter,
We're already
Sydney,
at that point in
Frank.
the
Well, then the
show.
show's over.
Well, it's almost over.
Oh,
Isn't it? How many
Mumin
episodes?
don't have nobody. Maybe Mumin and Nye can talk. Why haven't they ever gotten Mumin and
They
Nye?
have. They have.
Oh, when? Only in the group date? Do they have a group date? When did Naeem and
I should be
Mumin
saving
ever
on
get?
my notes.
I don't remember Mumin and Nye ever really getting
I
a
don't
quality
know,
chance.
but maybe they should. Isn't Nye the one? Isn't Nye the one that talked about wanting a delicious chocolate simple woman from the beginning, or was that Dante? I think it was Naeem.
I feel like it might have been Naeem. Don't do that to me with the chocolate talk. You know I love a man who appreciates the chocolate. I just
Well, look at that. I mean, Mumin is a perfect example of that.
Oh
They
yeah, look at
just
me. I'm all
seem-
looking at myself. Sorry, yes, Mumin. What?
Yes,
Focus on the
Naeem,
show.
call her too, just in case you didn't find somebody.
Yeah,
I
right.
like Naeem. I think he might be great for you.
It'd be fun.
Be a good little situation.
Right.
Oh no.
We'll see. I guess we
determined.
have 1 week to wait and see what is going to happen. I love that B. I am not mad. I always gotta have my chocolate. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I love it, B.
Come on. Mix
That
the word a
sweet
little
tooth.
bit tasty. I love it. I think we did a great job. This was so much fun. Everybody rocked our world today. This was a lot. I'm actually probably going to even think a little bit more about this as I go home. As I turn this off, I am home. But next week, 1 week from today, we will find out what happened and what is going on going forward. Who's staying, who's going home, who's booed up, and who's going to be at the reunion. As
How many
Camille
more
would say,
episodes
we
are
will
there? Do
see
we
you
know?
at the reunion. I was like,
Yeah, she went off.
she went off.
Yeah, that's maybe what she meant. She's about to leave.
Either that or show up. We talked about how cringe.
We're done. We're
yeah,
done.
That's it.
We done. We
Thank
out.
you guys so much for tuning in.
B,
We
thank you
love
so much for tuning in. Love
Until
y'all.
next week.
Until next week.